The nation's economic recovery may be slow, but the most energy efficient states say that going green is a way to get out of the recession. The American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy released a scorecard of sorts today on how all 50 states and D.C. rank in their progress in going green. Clean Skies' Dee Bonboni is here to tell us more. Dee.
That's right. The ACEEE released today what was more like a report card than a scorecard on how well the 50 states and D.C. are doing to become more energy efficient. Now, the group ranks California as the state that makes the most efficient use of its energy resources. Last on the list, the great coal state of Wyoming. ACEEE released its report to a packed news conference today at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. The governors of Maine and Delaware said going green has produced jobs and reduced electric bills in their states. ACEEE determined its rankings by rating states in 6 policy areas: electric utilities, transportation, building codes, industrial energy, appliance standards, and state government initiatives. Now, the states that ranked the most efficient excelled in all those areas. States that ranked at the bottom either did nothing to become more efficient or made efforts in just 1 or 2 areas. The result? ACEEE says California is the most efficient state in the union, followed by Massachusetts, Connecticut, Oregon, New York, Vermont, Washington State, Minnesota, Rhode Island, and Maine. Among the worst, a number of southeastern coal states and oil-rich states, including Arkansas, Missouri, which are tied, Louisiana, Georgia, Alaska, West Virginia, Nebraska, Alabama, Mississippi, North Dakota, and Wyoming. So what's the incentive to go green? Maine Governor John Baldacci said it cuts energy costs for consumers and brings much-needed jobs to the state.
We've got paper companies in Maine that are burning number 6 oil. They want to get off it. It's jeopardizing 300 or 400 working at the plant. Now, by having energy efficiency money to change that to maybe a wood biomass burner that will create the steam and the electricity, they're able to keep those 300 or 400 jobs working and also be able to employ Maine loggers, woodmen, craftsmen, and other millwork to be able to get that product so it can be boiled into a biomass boiler in keeping the jobs here in Maine. That's the type of connections. So we're not importing it, sending the dollars out, but we're actually keeping it in Maine and stimulating economic activity.
Now, among federal officials at the news conference, Kathy Zoe, Assistant Energy Secretary for Energy Efficiency. She said the administration plans to do more to help states become more efficient. Already, the department has doled out more than $10 billion in stimulus funds. And more appliance standards are on the way, too, she said. Zoe and other officials urged lagging states to catch up to efficiency leaders. Susan?
So, Dee, was there anything in common among, when you say the most efficient states and among the least efficient ones, did they have characteristics in common?
Well, they all had different stories. I asked Steve Nadel, he's executive director of ACEEE, that question, and he said there's no way to know what has triggered each state to act the way it has. For example, Maine consumers have been fighting rising electricity rates. Demand is growing, and the state's power plants use a lot of oil. So that's one factor. The state's also concerned about imminent federal efficiency standards that may come out of pending energy bills, or it could be the stimulus money flowing to states to start up those programs.
So how does all this fit into a renewable electricity standard?
Well, efficiency standards are often classified as separate from renewable electricity standards, but all of the states that were efficient already had their own RES. That's interesting. And of course, the Waxman-Markey bill combines them into a national efficiency and renewable energy standard. So they increasingly do go hand in hand.
Okay, Dee Bonboni, thank you.